Local. You're watching Acadiana's KLAF News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Danielle Grossman.
And I'm Adam Hooper. Thanks for choosing Acadiana's KLAF News at 10 this evening. There are traffic delays on Highway 90 in Iberia Parish tonight after a deadly crash on the road earlier today. Troopers say two 18-wheelers crashed at U.S. Highway 90 east of LA 85 around 11:30 this morning. Preliminary investigation shows that 44-year-old James Campbell of Abbeville stopped his tractor trailer in the outside westbound lane of US 90 because of a railroad crossing. And 54-year-old Pedro Alvarez of Houston, Texas, hit the back of Campbell's trailer and sustained fatal injuries from the load shifting forward. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Campbell suffered minor injuries and was brought to an area hospital. Toxicology tests are pending for both drivers, and the crash remains under investigation.
Some Lafayette Parish Council members say property tax revenues are not sufficient enough to cover the cost of services.
They believe the situation will only get worse. KLAF's Kristen Dre spoke with them on the issue.
Adam and Danielle, Lafayette Parish receives 28% of all parish property taxes, second to the school system's 39%. Some leaders believe property tax revenues aren't enough to cover the cost of services like drainage and road maintenance.
Since this government was inaugurated in 1996, there has been no new property tax.
Right.
None.
City Parish Councilman Bruce Conk says only 14 of Louisiana's 64 parishes had lower property tax rates than Lafayette Parish in 2015.
Arguably one of the most progressive cities in the state, one of the fastest growing parishes, of course Youngsville being the fastest growing city in the state of Louisiana.
Councilman Kenneth Boudreau is reframing the question, do you want to pay more taxes or do you want more services?
That's when we're talking about having crews to do work, drainage work, having the funding to do the capital projects to improve draining the roads and our systems that we operate in that function.
Right now, only 4 of the 28% goes towards drainage maintenance. Both Conk and Boudreau say one option is to increase taxes.
But again, there are other options out there, but I don't really believe that's where the people of Lafayette want to go because we enjoy this quality of life that we appreciate today.
The alternative, Boudreau says, would be significant cuts to services, programs, and possibly even facilities.
At the end of the day, you're going to pay one way or the other. Services cost, but we want the people to decide how you want to pay for this.
Council members Conk and Boudreau tell me if there were to be a new tax, it wouldn't be implemented until October or November of this year. In the studio, Kristen Dre for Acadiana's KLAF News.
There's a public meeting Thursday at 3 o'clock at LCG to further discuss the issue.
And now, Acadiana's Storm Team Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Jordan Sandler.
So that's it for the rain. Wasn't so bad. We just got some light to moderate showers, a little heavier up in St. Landry Parish, but we are all done with it now. Couple little showers still going on down in Morgan City. Other than that, we are on the other side of this thing. So take a look at where this cold front is. It is now in eastern Acadiana, moving into Breaux Bridge. But you see those clouds behind all the way back to Dallas? That's going to keep us warm at least until they pass. So still in the 60s now. The wind is going to continue, and that is going to get really cold by the morning, getting into the 40s. Talk about this forecast coming up.
In St. Landry Parish, an Opelousas man will go to trial for allegedly murdering his wife. A grand jury found there was enough evidence to try 38-year-old Nikki Turner for the second-degree murder of his wife, Delisha Ivy Turner, back in October of 2016. According to Opelousas police, the Turners got into a fight at the home in the 200 block of West White Street. At some point during that argument, Turner shot and stabbed his wife multiple times. She died from injuries related to the stabbing. If convicted, Turner faces a mandatory sentence of life in jail without probation, parole, or suspension of the sentence.
Deputies in St. Mary Parish are searching for a missing welding trailer from Amelia. Officers believe the truck on your screen was involved in the theft. It happened on Martin Luther King Day at a business in the 9000 block of Highway 182. Surveillance video shows the suspect hitching the trailer to the truck and driving out of the yard. Investigators say among the stolen items are a 14-foot trailer, a Hobart 225 stick welding machine, and several hundred feet of ground wire. Anyone with information on this crime is asked to call the St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office.
In Iberia Parish, 32-year-old Aka Celestine is behind bars on multiple narcotic and firearm charges. Celestine was in a home of 800 block of Ann Street when agents searched the house with a warrant. During the search, deputies found drugs with a street value of more than $30,000, including powder cocaine, crack cocaine, marijuana, codeine, various prescription pills, handguns, and more than $1,000 cash. Agents are currently searching for 27-year-old Akimo Hippolyte. He's one of the same charges. Anyone with information on the location of Akimo Hippolyte's asked to call the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office.
Imagine picking up your smartphone to explore crime statistics for your neighborhood, to look at the new restaurant permits, or chart the safest bike route through the city. Lafayette City Parish government is in the early stages of a new initiative to give everyone easy access to the information sitting on government computers, what used to be inaccessible. The idea is generally referred to as open data. Residents can already access some of that data held by city parish government, including crime figures, but finding and exploring the information online can be a hard process.
Lafayette Parish is much safer today now that the Sheriff's Office has upgraded its personal protective equipment. The equipment will offer better protection to officers when dealing with active shooters. It includes ballistic helmets, external plate carriers, and individual first aid kits, and modernized field force gear. LPSO says they've jumped at the opportunity to order better gear following the Dallas and Baton Rouge attacks on police. Lafayette Parish Sheriff Mark Garber says it's a positive step forward in the safety of Lafayette Parish. Total cost of all the equipment was about $187,000, $98,000 from local donors.
It's been almost 2 years since Lafayette Consolidated Government adopted an adjudicated property ordinance.
But why hasn't there been much change since? KLAF's Troy Thornton spoke with LCG to get those answers.
They stick out like a sore thumb.
Blighted and then adjudicated properties.
Yards arrayed with high grass, trees, and trash, the eyesores of the area.
The face of our neighborhoods.
Blighted properties can be a nuisance to neighbors, turning off potential homeowners and decreasing property value in the areas.
I think it's natural that some of our older areas of town, as a community grows and changes, you typically see more blight in some of the older parts of town.
For this reason, Lafayette Consolidated Government adopted an ordinance in 2015 that would create a process for those properties to be handled. Director of Planning, Zoning, and Development Carly Labar says the ordinance still has a few kinks to be ironed out.
The ordinance basically is enabling, that gives local government a process by which to allow for different neighborhood groups or adjacent neighbors to work to obtain the properties that have been neglected in their neighborhoods.
She says they are working to set up processes from a legal perspective before the ordinance is fully in motion.
We want to be very careful when we're dealing with people's property rights and making sure we retain those and handle those as responsibly as possible.
But while they work on that, she adds that her department has been working daily to handle issues of this sort around the parish.
Every property and situation is different. So in some cases we're able to successfully work with the owners, and in other cases, unfortunately, we work with the City Parish Council to condemn houses when necessary.
In Lafayette, Toy Thornton, Acadiana's KLAF News.
Labar says if there is a blighted or adjudicated property in your neighborhood, you should report it to LCG's Code Enforcement Division.
2 years ago, a small church in Iberia Parish went up in flames, and now the congregation of that little church is moving forward with a leap of faith. Tomorrow, the church is breaking ground on its new building. For the past 24 months, Little Zora's congregation has been attending service at Pilgrim Baptist Church in New Iberia. However, a few months ago, members believe God sent them a vision for them to return to their church home. Reverend Wilfred Johnson says the new church will be in the same location, but constructed from a small metal building. And to celebrate the occasion, the excited congregation has held a series of revivals.
The joy in their heart, how they was expressing that joy and that happiness, just to know that we are beginning a process. I tell you, for 2 years, we didn't know what was going to happen. And then God finally opened up his mouth and he spoke to us. And the joy, I can't explain it.
Tomorrow, the congregation will have a groundbreaking ceremony at 2 p.m. on the second anniversary of the fire at 3605 Old Generette Road. The public is invited. One driver is behind bars for crashing into a state trooper, and it was all caught on tape. Details coming up.
And sad news from the TV world. Actress Mary Tyler Moore has passed away. That story straight ahead.
Plus, Jordan will have a look at your full forecast in just a few minutes. Stay with us.